Hello world, welcome, thank you for joining me. So following on from the video that I posted yesterday, which was discussing the concept of dimensions and dimensions of consciousness being an increasing scale of the bandwidth of information that we are able to access and process and understand in the present moment. So the thing that I would like to highlight today, following on from that discussion, is the topic of understanding the higher self. And so the higher self is the part of each person's soul energy that exists in the fifth dimension. So the energy of the soul is actually running throughout all dimensions, all the way up to source, all the way up to the infinite scale. So it's not that we're placed in one level at the exclusion of the others, but we're on a journey of transitioning our awareness up through the density levels, up through vibration. So what this means is there is an aspect of your soul that already resides and exists in the fifth dimension, which has access to information from across time and space. It is effectively the experience of omniscience. And where we may be residing in the third to fourth dimension currently, which means that we're able to perceive and access a smaller volume of information in the present moment. Once you have an awareness of the higher self, the part of you that's in the fifth dimension, you can begin to create a relationship with that aspect of your soul and consciously bring it into your awareness and consciously ask it for help, call in its assistance, and use its guidance and use its knowledge and its awareness in greater increasing degrees to be able to assist you and guide you to moving into the experiences that you do desire, helping you along your healing journey, and bringing in more light and more love, more joy on your path to becoming the future version of yourself that you would like to become, that you would like to be. So one way to think of this is almost as though where we're at in this dimension in the human physical form, it's almost like if you imagine there was an ant and the ant is in a maze. And that's almost the view that we have here of our reality. We're such a small tiny ant in this maze that actually finding the path to get out of the maze on our own is gonna be very difficult, or it can be very difficult. However, if you think of the fifth dimensional part of your soul, the higher self, as being almost like an eagle. So the position of the eagle is gonna be able to navigate across the top of the maze and see exactly where you are residing as the ant, and exactly which route you need to take, exactly which turn is going to lead you to the exit of where you want to leave the maze. So the information that we can access is like the ant's viewpoint, and the higher self in the fifth dimension is looking down and can see the broader view, the broader spectrum of information from the view of the eagle. Now, once you can build up a communication and build up a connection and have an awareness of that part of yourself, that part of your soul, that part of your consciousness, what it's like is the ant being able to communicate with the eagle and receive the instructions and receive the directions of, okay, turn left here, okay, go forward, okay, now right. and it will be able to guide you and assist you and help you to efficiently and joyfully reach the destination that you're aiming for, where you want to reach. So how does this technique actually play out? How does this experience actually work? I want to share with you some information from my experience. So understanding that we're almost perceiving reality in terms of like the nuances and the technical aspect of time and space. We're perceiving it from the view of the ant, which means that we have quite limited information. So at this stage of awareness, you're not expected to be able to know 10 steps ahead. You're not expected to know, oh, how do I get exactly where I want to be? You can't necessarily have the plan of every step that you'll need to take for the next 10 years, 20 years, for the rest of your life in this now moment. There are too many variables and too many unforeseens in this maze. But with the assistance of the higher self, who is in the position of the eagle, what it's instead possible to do is to rely on what is my next step. What is the next direction that is coming in based on the position that I'm in right now? And in this way, it's almost like an experience of creating a relationship with the higher self to ask for what is my next breadcrumb. And like Hansel and Gretel, it becomes this process, this story of only really needing to have information about what's my next move, with the understanding that the other part of yourself, the higher self, is guiding you from the position of knowing what the next 10 steps will be and what all the steps will be in life in future. But actually, it's in your highest good here and now in the physical form to focus on, okay, this is my next move. And so this becomes then a process of, in some ways, relinquishing the need to have things planned out into the future to the tiniest detail, and relinquishing the need to feel like, oh, I must know my 5-year plan, I must know my 10-year plan and every step of how I'm going to get there. And actually having faith and having trust that if I can tune into my divine guidance, then all I'm really needing to know is what is my intuition guiding for my next step. And when you receive that next step and you arrive there, at that position, you'll receive the guidance of, okay, now this is the next move. So it's almost like a drawing in of your awareness, a drawing in of your energy to be closer connected to the now moment, the present moment, and the scenario that you're currently in. So once you are aware of the higher self and its ability to assist you and how that relationship can look and how that can play out, I just want to also give some advice and some tips on how to nurture that relationship and how to tune into that advice. And what that's going to feel like is tapping into your intuition. So in order to have a greater connection to that sense of intuition, you're going to want to be bringing your attention and your awareness increasingly into the present moment. So this might look like doing the steps that I've discussed in an earlier video that are recommended in yoga, for example. So it might look like benefiting from doing movement of the body, breath work, meditation. And essentially the experience of meditation, where it teaches you to bring your awareness back into the present moment and noticing when it has drifted and then bringing it back to the now moment. It's almost like if you can use what you learn during meditation and apply that to the rest of your day, to every moment, then you can bring more of your energy into the now and you'll be more closely connected to the higher self's message. And the way that you will be able to tell what the guidance is really calling for you to do can be measured by how excited and how passionate do you feel about something. So this is a concept that's discussed in detail by Bashar. And the idea is that in some ways you're playing a game of warmer and colder with your higher self. So the game that children sometimes play is locating the item. And as you get closer to it, you're saying warmer or hotter. And as you're getting further away from the item, oh, colder, colder. So with the higher self, the same game is playing out, except the higher self is using passion and excitement and joy to reflect warmer, warmer, and to say you're getting closer and closer to what is your highest path. So if at any given moment there are different options available to you, choose the one that feels the most exciting. Choose the one that makes you feel most passionate. Choose the one that feels the most loving and nourishing. And that will be the one that your higher self is saying, this way, over here, this is the next step towards your highest path. This is the next step towards finding your route out of the maze, the route to the destination that you desire to achieve at some point in your future. And once you begin to lean into this process, you can build up trust with this. So start small, like start making choices that maybe aren't of the most importance. So choosing, okay, what am I going to do with my spare time today? I could read a book, I could go for a walk, etc., etc. So start small, start with things that are simple. And then eventually, as you practice this mechanism and you begin to trust in its ability to guide you, then eventually you'll find that you're making the huge, big life decisions by using this mechanism of, okay, how passionate am I? And okay, what is my higher self guiding me towards? And with that, you catapult yourself into greater and greater leaps of healing and evolution and growth towards that timeline of experience that you actually desire. I hope that was some use to you today and makes sense. As always, contemplate these ideas, dwell on them, contemplate and see what comes up. Allow for your own intuition, your own guidance, your own higher self to question and throw ideas in and analyze, like, how do you really feel about this? But have a play with it, play around with it, have fun, and yeah, wishing you all the best on your journey as we're all navigating our way through this maze called life. Thank you for joining me, thank you for listening, and sending you loads of love.